right, welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. I'm joined, as always, by co-host Bethany. How is it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great. Today, we're going to be talking about how to restart your fitness journey without getting discouraged. So obviously, we talk a lot about helping people get started on their health and fitness journey. But what about those people who have maybe started something and then fallen off track? And now it comes time to restart, or maybe they go through that yo-yo of getting consistent, falling off, getting consistent, falling off.
Yeah.
How can we help those people continue to stay motivated and continue trying until they can kind of figure out what is going to stick for them? So this episode is going to be for anybody who used to work out, fell off, and now you're a little hesitant on getting back on track or restarting. So this is going to be good for people who were once consistent. They were once stronger, in better shape, a little more fitter. Anybody who know what to do, but they just kind of feel stuck. So maybe you know what you need to do. You're just lacking that drive, that motivation, that push, or you're just kind of in a rut, and you haven't jumped back on the bandwagon, right? So one thing we want to make sure that everybody knows is restarting does feel different than starting for the first time.
Yeah.
It often feels a little heavier emotionally rather than physically. So if you've been telling yourself, I should be further along, this episode is for you. So first section that we want to go through is just why restarting can actually be harder than starting for the first time.
Yeah.
So Bethany, why is it that restarting could be a little bit tougher?
Yeah. So restarting tends to be tougher for people more so mentally than physically. Like physically, you know what to expect as far as how the workouts are going to feel. Like you have some knowledge of, okay, like this exercise does this, or you just have more knowledge, which isn't always a good thing. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. When you're brand new, everything's new. It's a little bit more exciting. You have all these new experiences, so it keeps you engaged more. And so that helps to build the motivation earlier and faster than when you're restarting.
Yeah.
When you're restarting, people tend to have an expectation coming in. Whereas if you're someone brand new, you don't have expectations. Like you might have negative expectations, but you don't have expectations of yourself. When you restart, you have expectations of how you were last time, how fast the weight came off before, how quickly you felt a difference, what you were able to do before that you can't do now because you did fall off. Unfortunately, things like that, you can't go back and rewrite time at that point. So it's like, instead of focusing on the past, you can focus on today and tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's like the more time you spend in the past thinking about, oh, I used to be like this, or oh, I used to be able to do this, but I can't now. It's like the more you do that, the worse it's going to be, because it's not something you can change. Yeah. The only thing by thinking about it just makes you feel worse. So it's like, just focus on today and then days in front of you, because that's the only thing that you can actually change the outcome of.
Yeah.
So that's where it's harder with restarting and then trying to do it all over again. It's just having that mental expectation of yourself or expectations of how it's going to go.
Yeah. And we've seen that a lot with new people is, they have no expectation, and often they underestimate what they can really do. And so a lot of times new people, they will actually prove themselves wrong. Like we will literally help them and show them, hey, you're capable of more than you thought you were. Mm-hmm. And so usually it's actually a really exciting time, like you said, for people that first start out. Well, after you've done it for a little while and you've built that strength up and you've started to build some confidence, like, oh wow, I can lift more than I thought, and I am stronger, more fit than I thought. And then you fall back off, and then when you come back and you're not at that level again, it can be very discouraging.
Yes.
Right? So we totally understand that, and that's what we want to try to help solve today. So next we're going to kind of go over expectations versus reality. So people expect their body to perform like it used to, right? So they take, maybe it's even just a couple of months off is enough to really notice a decline in your performance and your strength. Mm-hmm. maybe your life was interrupted in stress and sleep and schedule priorities, time away from training, all that stuff can kind of throw you off. And when you come back and you try to do what you used to do, like, we have the level method. So maybe you were used to doing blue on the Metcons, and then you come back and you do a blue and it just wrecks you, or you can't keep up, or you can't do it. And you get, you think to yourself, this should be easier. Like, I used to be able to do this, what is wrong with me?
It's discouraging, like disheartening for people.
Yep. The reality is just your body wasn't used to that volume anymore, and your endurance and your strength has declined a little bit. But the good news is it's very temporary. It will come back soon. So your body's not broken or anything. It's just you need to basically kind of reset the expectation a little bit. So let's just go into with that mindset of, okay, I did have some time off, but here I am, I'm back to focus on the positives. Like, here I am, I'm back into the gym to rebuild, but reset your expectations a little bit and understand that it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of get back to where you were. But so you're not failing or anything, you're rebuilding. I'm a huge advocate on looking at every failure as a lesson. So like every time you do fall off track or you do take time off, just kind of sit there and reflect and ask yourself, okay, like, why did I fall off track? What caused me to stop going, right? What can I do differently next time so that you can avoid doing the same thing? So you can always take a setback or a failure and turn it into a lesson or a learning opportunity to do better in the future, right? Every obstacle is an opportunity for growth and opportunity. Or every opportunity is, you can grow from it and learn from it.
Yeah, you can get better.
You can get better, right?
Yeah.
So, reality is it's just going to take a little bit of time. You're not broken or anything. You didn't fail. You just got to kind of reset the expectation and focus on rebuilding.
Yeah, and if you just think about it purely objectively, your body will adapt to whatever stimulus that you're giving it. So when you give it the stimulus to get stronger because you are lifting progressively heavier weights, it needs to get fitter and more efficient because you're doing Metcons and things like that. You're doing your core. That's your body has to adapt. So you have to have a stronger core. Your body's going to adapt to whatever signal you're sending it. So if you send it that signal of, okay, get stronger, get fitter, all of that, and then all of a sudden the signal that it was sending, like whatever was giving it that signal is then gone because you stopped working out, then your body's going to say, oh, we don't need to do this anymore. So it's metabolically taxing for your body to keep up the muscle, to keep up all the different processes of that. So if you're not stressing your body, it's going to go back to how it was, or like a baseline. It's going to adapt to that new level of stress, of adaptation. And so if you're not being active, then it'll adapt to that pretty quickly sometimes.
And that's why you lose that strength when you take a little bit of time off. Just because your body's adapting. It's like, okay, we don't need to be lifting these heavy objects right now or whatever. So that's why you'll notice that dip in your endurance and your strength.
Endurance tends to go faster than strength. Strength and muscle, you tend to hold on to that longer. But endurance, I mean, if you even take a week off, like you can notice a difference.
Yeah, 1 to 2
But usually
weeks.
takes like a month of being off to really like, oh, okay, like my strength and muscle have definitely decreased. But then good news is, like, yes, you can take a longer time off and still rebuild it back. But it takes longer, obviously, with building muscle back. But you can get your cardio fitness back faster, even if you can lose it faster. So...
Yeah. And I mean, everybody's heard of muscle memory. So great thing about strength is you can build a lot of neuromuscular strength but without having to gain a ton of muscle. So we kind of call that newbie gains. So, we have a new client that's never worked out before. It's super fun for us because like they gain strength so fast. We start somebody out with a body weight box squat, and that's challenging. And then next thing you know, they're doing a kettlebell goblet squat and barbell squats and deadlifts and all that kind of stuff. So the neuromuscular strength can shoot up very fast. And when you don't work out, it's just you're not using that stimulus, so it's okay. We don't need, like you said, you kind of adapt.
Mhm.
But then when you come back, you have that muscle memory. Your body's like, okay, we've done this before. So if we've done this before, like it'll retrain and kind of regain sometimes even more quickly than the first time. So that's what's great about it. So it is definitely temporary. It's normal. Happens to everybody that takes time off. I mean, I've taken a couple weeks off and you come back and, oh man, I don't feel very strong. Well, I know that if I just, it's going to take a week or two and I'll be right back into my swing of things. Right. So.
Yeah. When I broke my ankle and I mean, like I couldn't train that leg really much at all. Especially not the calf. Like the calf was getting nothing. I mean, maybe my quads and glutes were getting a little bit just from moving my leg around. But that calf, it has so much atrophy. Like I lost so much muscle in it that the cast was completely like loose by the end of the 6 weeks that I had it on. And it didn't even look like my leg or my foot after I took it out, because it was like there was no veins in the foot. It was really weird. And so, I mean, I couldn't even do a single leg calf raise on that leg. Like I couldn't even mentally connect to the muscle because the nerves were so weakened. Like it was really weird. Like I could touch my leg and I couldn't feel it.
Yep.
It was bizarre. I was like, oh my gosh, like is this ever going to be the same again? Right.
Yeah.
But then in like 3 weeks, it was, I mean, strength wise, it was about 3 to 4 weeks and I was back to where I was. But that first week was rough. And like, I mean, you know, couldn't even walk on it for, I think I would get to like 6,000 or 7,000 steps in a day. And I would start to be like, I have to sit down because I'm getting really sore.
You had a boot for a little while too, right?
No.
I know. You went straight from
It was straight from cast to walking again. So I just sent it, you know? So it's going to be uncomfortable and things aren't going to feel the same afterwards. And my ankle didn't feel the same for a while afterwards. It was still like a little glitchy and stiff and a little bit, but the muscle came back.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Muscle came back, balance came back, everything comes back eventually.
Yeah. That's a big part on restarting too, is that's probably one of the number one reasons why people stop is because of an injury. Something that happens, they're like, oh, I got to take some time off. You know, I hurt my wrist, hurt my ankle, hurt my shoulder, my knee. You know, you had a little like little scooter with her leg propped up, and she was still, you know, coaching and working, but she was also still working out.
I did my upper body.
Did upper body. So like a great way to avoid having to restart, even through injury or setbacks, anything like that, is just do what you can when you can. It's not about what we have, it's about what we do with what we have, right? So if you have limited time and you have an injury or something, you can still work around it. So, you know, if you do have a leg injury, there's tons of upper body stuff that you can do. You can do the other leg, potentially, and just do that, and it'll actually help with the recovery. It'll help keep you consistent, so you keep up the habit. And if you are somebody that's short on time, maybe you're not dealing with an injury, but like it's busy during the holidays. We get a lot of people that quit during the holidays. A lot of people quit during the summer because they're exercising outside, walking and gardening and camping and all those kind of fun activities. I suggest just doing kind of less volume,
just
doing the bare minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah, doing the maintenance. So if you used to train, you know, maybe you're coming in 3, 4, 5 days during the winter, summer comes around or holidays come around, come at least 1 or 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Keep the habit up, keep your strength up. That's a great way to maintain strength. So the great thing about building strength, it does take some volume. You know, our best recommendation would be like 3, 4, 5 days a week, build strength, you know, do that strength training. But to actually maintain it takes a lot less volume than building it.
Right.
So, for example, for athletes during the off season, they'll train really, really hard during the off season. They'll build up all this strength, this endurance, and in order to maintain it, they can kind of cut the volume in half. So, you know, if they were doing 5 sets of 5 heavy squats, deadlifts, bench, power cleans, whatever lifts they were doing, they could come in and just do 1 or 2 sets of 5 with the same weight and maintain that strength. Or maybe if you were training 3, 4, 5 days and you're coming in and you're hitting 1 or 2 hard days, that's enough to at least help maintain that muscle mass and that strength and endurance. So that's one great thing about our body is if you're still giving it that stimulus, you will continue to maintain that adaptation. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure, but at the very least, just try to continue doing something to stay consistent.
Yeah. But saying if you did take a break for injury or busy season or anything like that, coming back, you don't want to have the goal of training like how you did before. Yep. Most people, they have the idea of like, oh, this is how I did it before, and this is how I was when I left last time. Like, this is what I'm going to start with. But that's what tends to lead people to feeling discouraged and burnt out, because you're trying to, say you were working out 5 days a week and high volume and everything like that. And if you go right back to that, getting back on the wagon, it's like, I mean, you're sore. You're like, man, I can't do what I used to do. It's a lot more discouraging trying to go full force, pedal to the metal right away, back at it, and then falling into that comparison trap of where you were before.
Yeah.
And you end up just sore and discouraged and exhausted. And so you're like, oh man, like I'm restarting. It makes you feel like you're starting from zero. And a lot of people think that they are, but you're really not. Like, you're not starting from zero. You do have a baseline, like we were talking about with the muscle memory. Like, there's a baseline there, but the point is to be consistent and stick with it long enough. Like, stick through that uncomfortable part to get back to where you were. Yep. Because it's not going to take you, the 5 years it took you to get there. It'll take, a little bit less time than that, of course. Yep. But you're not going to feel like your old self in 1, 2, 3 months. It's going to take a bit longer than that usually. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So just don't chase those numbers that you used to have. Like, you go into it and just understand that, okay, I'm going to be a little bit slower. I'm going to have to take this a little bit easier. Maybe I'm not going to train 5 days. It's 3 days. But to understand that you can, you'll get back to where you were a lot quicker than before. And usually it's a lot quicker than the amount of time you take off. Like, if people quit for a year, it might only take you a couple months to get right back on track. The longer you take off, the longer it's going to take to get back to where you were.
Right.
So how to restart the right way? The key is to build that confidence back up before you add in the intensity. So, lower the bar on purpose. So lighter weights, shorter sessions, fewer days in the week initially, kind of like what we were saying. If you used to train 5, maybe come 3. If you did 3, come 2. Just showing up is kind of the key. Like, showing up and doing something is way better than pushing yourself and killing yourself and then not wanting to come back, right? So just show up. Don't focus on crushing the workout. Just focus on getting through your workouts. You should leave feeling successful, feeling accomplished, just that you did the work, get a good sweat on, feel like you accomplished and did something, build that trust in your body again. And just let that strength come back naturally. So, I've personally had a lot of setbacks too. So, like, Bethany knows that I've, pretty much every year I would throw my back out to where I look like an old man, and I'd walk around hunched over and crooked. And
yeah, it was weird.
It was very weird. I'd have to go to the chiropractor and get adjustments and massages, and I would foam roll and do these different stretches and stuff like 2-3 times a day to get my back, realigned and back in position. And then I would have to slowly rebuild back up. I'd have to focus on a lot of core stability training. I wasn't lifting with a barbell. Like, I was going to dumbbells and kettlebells and body weight. And then slowly reintroducing the barbell and then getting back up to my weights. And pretty much every year or 2, I would do that. And then
you get injured again, and then we all
and then I would do something to tweak my back again, and then I'd restart the whole process. So I've been in your shoes if you're somebody that's restarted a couple times. And I've been dealing with my back injury for 13 years now. So it's happened numerous amounts of times. I've managed it really well because I've never quit. So last thing you want to do is quit entirely because of an injury or a limitation or something, because it's only going to get worse. I was just talking to somebody yesterday who has got some sciatic nerve going on, that nerve pain down the leg. A lot of people can relate to that. I used to deal with that. He said, the only time it feels fine is when I'm up moving around. Like I was up chopping wood all day long yesterday. It never bothered me. I sat down in the lazy boy, and a couple minutes later it was bothering me and I was tight and stiff. And so movement helps.
Yes.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves, I think, is like if you get injured, you go to the doctor, you figure out what it is, and they're like, oh, just rest and don't do anything. It's like, well, do a little something. Get the body moving.
Yeah, like there's always something
stretch
that you
out.
can do.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the injury, obviously. But usually if it's like a pinched nerve or, you got really tight muscles or something, you can stretch and do the minimum stuff to help relieve some of that pain, inflammation, So biggest thing is don't focus on the intensity, but focus on momentum. Just show up, do what you can, continue building on that. Okay. Another great thing that we do want to point out is restarting is much easier in the right environment. So sometimes it can be very, very tough to do it on your own. So the environment matters a lot. So you might want that guidance, that reassurance, the support, the coaching, the structure, maybe the availability. Like I mentioned earlier with our fit camps, we've got the level method. So we have the ability to scale and increase the intensity of workouts. So like I said, maybe Joe, left doing purple Metcons and he took 2 or 3 months off, comes back. Okay, Bethany and I are going to say, hey, Joe, it's been a little while. We're going to have you do the orange Metcon for now. And then once that orange Metcon gets a little easier and you start to crush that, okay, well, let's go to the blue. And then we'll eventually get back up to purple, right?
Yeah.
So it's just having that guidance and coaching and structure, but also the encouragement of like, hey, you're going to get back to where you were. And the other thing is don't compare yourself to what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Don't even compare yourself to what you could do before, because like over the last, it's coming up on probably 2 years, I've really scaled back my workout intensity. I rarely deadlift. I rarely back squat, because those were the 2 big things that would end up throwing my back out and causing these issues. And then I was constantly restarting. So I noticed the pattern. I know that my back has been tweaked enough times to where it would take a lot of time and effort and work to really get it. I don't know if it'll ever be perfectly normal.
Probably not.
Right. And that's something that I've come to terms with. And so I do anything that I can do safely without bothering it. And I feel great. My back doesn't give me any issues, but I'm still maintaining my strength. Instead of doing barbell heavy deadlifts, I'm just doing a lot of hyperextensions and kettlebell Romanian deadlifts and single leg deadlifts, and still similar movement patterns, different variations. Instead of heavy back squats, I can front squat without pain. So I've been doing a lot of front squats, lunges, stuff like that, right? So understand that, sometimes you will have to change up your variation, but you can still keep going and still keep making progress. So,
right.
We personally, so if you restart, if you start or restart, we meet you where you're at. So Bethany and I's job is basically to establish, okay, what can you do? So those first couple sessions are going to be establishing your baseline. So we start you out with the easiest possible variation, and then we kind of work you up and figure out kind of where you're at. So we meet you where you're at. We help you build that confidence, and then we start to add in the intensity, and we try to remove the fear and the guesswork. So we basically do the work for you, and just tell you what to do, right?
Pretty much. Because usually people need that of just somebody telling them to go, like it's okay to go lighter. Or maybe they wouldn't want to do it on their own, but we know that it's what's best for them. So be like, hey, just go light this session. Like just practice on like learning the movement again. Like we're not trying to chase as heavy as you can. We're trying to just get you back into it. And, people might be like, oh, but I can do heavy. And I'm like, no, don't do heavier. I'm like, just stay here and you'll be fine. And then, they end up sore the next day anyway, so it works out good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to help have somebody else there, like tell you what to do, is better than like you going about it on your own and trying to do it. Just because that way you're like, okay, like they're not like judging me for being, step back from where I was. It's like, we're never going to be like that. We're just happy to meet you wherever you are. I'm just happy that you're here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And on that too, like that goes for current clients. So we get this a lot with current clients. Like maybe you've been putting in the work for a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many years. And maybe you're getting a little discouraged, like, oh man, my numbers aren't going up or something. Or maybe if we test and you don't get as much as you did the last time, and you get discouraged. There's so many lifestyle factors that go into how you're going to perform in any given workout. So I try to really reassure to people like, hey, I mean, between your sleep, your stress, the nutrition, how hydrated you are, all that stuff plays a role in like how you're actually going to perform in every single workout.
Yeah.
So I tell people, I think I read somewhere it was like the rule of thirds. I would even say it's even more than this, but it was like 30% of your workouts are going to be worse than you expect. 30% are going to be average, normal. 30% are going to be, you're going to feel great. Like you're going to feel strong, energized, whatever. I would even say it's less than that. I would say it's like, 1 out of every 5 of my workouts, I feel like energized, great. Yeah. I'm feeling strong, etc. Probably 3 out of 5, I feel normal, average.
Yeah.
Just going through paces. And then usually every week there's a workout where like I'm tired, I'm sore, don't feel very strong.
This feels heavy.
This is heavy, don't want to do it, right? So understand that that's super normal. Definitely. Like if you have a great night's sleep and you eat perfect and stay hydrated, you might come in and you might have an amazing workout, but like how often does that really happen?
Yeah.
With our busy lives, right? So don't get discouraged if you don't hit the numbers that you want to hit. You don't hit a PR every time we test. You're not going to hit a PR every single time you test, or else there would be there'd be infinite PRs for everybody.
There'd be no limit for anybody.
Yeah. Everybody would be deadlifting 2,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So,
easy peasy.
Right. So you can't PR every time. So I just wanted to kind of touch that for the current members that are putting in the work too. So some ways to get started or restart. So we really want to encourage like anybody that's been a member here, no matter how many times you come in and taking time off, we welcome you back with open arms every single time. I praise people that never quit. So if you come in and keep trying, keep restarting, I am proud of that person and I will support that person and help them. So understand that we welcome you back. We are not going to judge you. We don't, hold a grudge against you or anything for quitting. Yeah. We want you back. We want you working on yourself because we know how important it is. So great ways to get started. If you want to work out on your own in the gym, beginner package is a great way to get reintroduced where me, Bethany, Mickey, Nicole, whoever can take you into the gym, show you all the machines, give you a workout plan to follow, how to properly do everything. Just having that plan to follow will help you get back on track and stay on track a little better. Group training, obviously, that is probably one of my number one recommendations. The group training, you just have that community support. You've got the community energy. Makes it more fun to work out. We've got the scheduled times. So you have it on your calendar. You're going to come at this time, this time, this time, this day, this day, this day. And me, Bethany, or whoever's coaching takes you through that workout and helps you no matter where you're at. So if you're restarting or brand new, we are going to meet you where you're at and then work you up. And we aren't afraid to be like, hey, today we want you to do this instead of this, just based on what we're seeing. I've had to do that with some of our veteran, clients, if they're dealing with an injury or they're not feeling it, they're a little tired, whatever. I'll say, hey, just do what you can do today. Don't worry about like doing your normal weights and reassuring them it's okay. It's going to happen. Happens to me all the time. So those would be some great places to start, or just personal training. Like if you want to get back in, maybe you are a little intimidated by the groups. You're a little nervous to jump back into group training. do a couple training sessions, get that baseline reestablished, learn those movements again, and get that confidence back, and then you can jump back into it. Right. So, anything else, Bethany, for our closing message?
Yeah, that's about everything. Just whatever gets you back in.
Yep. So restarting doesn't mean you failed. It means you're choosing yourself again, which is very important. Strength comes back, confidence comes back. You just have to give yourself permission to begin again. So we'll leave it with that. Hopefully this was helpful. It's always okay to restart. You will most likely restart multiple times just due to holidays and life and moving and injuries and whatever. There are going to be times where you're going to be thrown off track, but the most important thing is to never give up, never quit, because you can't fail if you don't quit, right? So if you have any questions, you want to get started, let us know. If you want to restart, let us know. We will help you get off on the right track. Until next time, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.